Hey designers, so I'm all coffeeed up and ready to show you some really exciting techniques that I've developed with a lot of experimentation. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these background textures slash patterns that you see here with this really cool wet paint kind of technique. And as you can see here, I kind of implemented sort of a chevron technique of going up and down and up and down, and with these wet paint brushes that I've developed just for this technique. So you can make some really cool color patterns just like you see here. So this is a few demonstrations of the kind of background textures patterns that you can make. So they're really fun and you can use them on anything. And so for this tutorial, I'm going to use actually colors from this Color Couture collection. So this is a good example of what you can do with Color Couture. And this collection, this color palette collection was actually inspired by this couture look, Schiaparelli. So I sampled colors from this jacket and I thought it was really cool, and then came up with this color palette based on that. So I love to get inspired by couture, and this is just another example. So we're going to use these colors and create some patterns, textures like this. So first of all, when I made these, I wanted to make 10 by 10 inch papers, patterns, or whatever. So what I did was I made my file size 11 by 11. And you'll see why when we're done, but whenever we're using this technique, the edges maybe don't look so nice. So if you make that kind of bleed area, you can just crop it to 10 by 10 or whatever size you want. So I would just make it like an inch bigger than whatever size that you want it to be. So I'm going to go to my pattern brush, and if you've used my Impressionist pattern brushes, you're very familiar with this. I've got right here the colors from this Color Couture collection, and I think though the first thing that I'm going to do is drop down a solid color so that I know I have like color everywhere. So I'm just gonna, I have here in my libraries, and I've showed you in one of a previous video how to load up your Color Couture collections into your libraries. So I have this loaded up so it's ready to go. So I'm just going to take this brown color, take my paint bucket tool, and on my first layer just drop down some color. So that's my background. So now I'm going to make another layer. I'm going to get my pattern brush, and I'm not going to be too particular about which brush I use. I just want one. They blend colors differently. So I'm going to take a brush that doesn't blend them softly, that I see a lot of colors. So this one I think is brush 109 from my Modern Impressionists. And I'm just going to increase the size of that brush. Oh, that's too big. Hold on. This is cool. Okay, that's fine. And I'm just doing this all as I go. I don't really have a super plan. So I think the first color that I'll lay down is actually this number 4. It's got a good range of the colors and it's probably my favorite. So what I'm going to do is make some of kind of a horizontal design. So basically I want my strokes and my patterns to be horizontal, and then I'm going to pull the paint up and down vertically, and so then you'll get that really cool effect. And so what I'm going to do is I'll just paint across, and if I want to keep kind of a straight line, I hold my shift down. So I'm just going to paint across like this and make a few. That's cool. So I've made this, and then maybe I'm going to make, that's kind of a wide stroke. So I think I'll just only make 2 of them. So I'm going to go like this, lay that down. That's interesting. So I think I'll move this layer down a little bit because you kind of want it to be centered in this area here. And that's cool. So the next thing I want to do is add another layer, and now I want to add some of this, maybe this red color for another stripe, this dark burgundy sort of thing. So I'm going to take, let's find some other brush. And like I said, I totally don't have a plan. And it's cool though because you don't really need to worry too much about which brush. The main thing is just kind of laying blocks of color down. So I took this Garden Party, Palm Beach Garden Party, brush number 25, and that's great. So I'm going to kind of make it not too wide, maybe, because this is such a strong color. That's good. So I'm going to make a stripe like that. Maybe I'll make one up here too. Oops. Now that this little trail is what happens if you keep holding the shift down while you make a new stroke. So I'm going to just undo that. No, you know what? I'm only going to make 2 of these strokes. So I'll put one underneath this and one underneath this. So let's just go ahead and do the same thing here. I'll maybe move it up so it shows about the same amount. Cool. So this is looking good. I'm going to take these 2 stroke layers and maybe inch them up a little bit. And now let's see here. I'm going to add one more accent, and I'm going to add a new layer. And now I want to drop down some of this really light color here. I think that will be very interesting. So I'm going to take that light one, and let's find a brush. I'm going to just scroll down here. I'm going to go into my Artistic Autumn. This is like my absolute favorite collection. The brushes in it, even though it has an autumn theme, the brushes in it are absolutely my favorite, and they're the most artistic of all of the pattern stamp brushes, I think, even better than the main Modern Impressionist set. So let's see what we got. This is fine. Okay, you know what? Just gonna keep experimenting till I get just what I'm looking for. This is good enough. So I'll use brush number 59. So we're just gonna say heck with it. I'm gonna use brush number 59, and rather than putting a straight line across, I'm going to just add some dots. So I think I will add them like here, here, and here. And then on this area, I'm going to add them here and here. And what's cool is you don't really have to be so precise or anything. And then down here, I will add them like the top layer. So this is probably one of my favorite sort of techniques, is adding a couple layers of stripes and then adding some dots. And then now you're going to see this looks like nothing. It doesn't look like anything special. It's a little bit, no, I think it's good. I'm going to actually grab all 3 layers and maybe just make it a little shorter like that. And then this is like legit good enough. So perfect. So now I've got my base and I've laid down these colors, and now you're going to see where the magic happens. So I'm going to take all 4 layers, I'm going to group them. I'll duplicate this group, and then now I'll merge it. And now I've got them all together. I'll make a backup copy here. So now I've got this layer, and now I'm ready to start on it. So what I'm going to do is take this mixer brush, and if you don't, I've actually separated my brushes out. If you don't see the mixer brush, you go to the brush tool and it will be within that, but I use it so much I make it separate. And then now what you're going to do is use these special brushes that I have created just for this. And now here they're labeled ICAT or whatever, but really it's more of like a wet chevron technique. So I've got all these brushes, and I have made, how many did I make? 15? I think like 16 of them, but they all make different effects. And basically they are wet paint brushes, like in my wet paint studio, but we're not going to use any color with them. So we're not picking up any color. And these are just brushes, and I've saved the settings as tool presets, or if you have a newer version of Photoshop, they're saved ready to use. So you don't have to do anything with them. So you can grab the brush or you can grab the tool preset, and basically it's a wet brush. It's got no color loaded up into it, and then I've adjusted the settings, the wetness, the load, the mix, so that it makes these different effects for you. So I'm just going to take, let's say, the first brush, and it's ready to go. So I will, and actually I'm going to maybe increase this just a little bit. The brushes that you get, they're going to probably have a base size of about 500 pixels wide. And so now what you start doing is you drag this over your canvas up and down, and you're going to get these really cool color dragging effects. And then this is going to turn out really cool, and it's going to look amazing. One tip that I have is when you're dragging up and down is that you want to hold the shift key down, because that will make sure that your line is straight. Because otherwise, if you just drag like this, you can make curves, and that's cool for another, I'm going to show you in another video, but for this technique, I'm going to show you to draw straight up and down, so you want to hold the shift. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to start over at my edge. I'm going to start above my canvas, hold down my shift key, and take my brush and drag. And there you see the start of it. And so now I will go down here. I want to make sure I don't miss, let's turn off my guides. I don't want to miss, like, leave a space here, so I kind of like overlap a little bit where it's already done. But you can get a pretty good idea. I'm going to tap again, and then I'll hold my shift key as I pull. And now you see this really cool effect. This is brush number 1. And now you get a little bit of an idea of what you can do with it. And now I'll go over here and I'll take brush number 2 and put it about 500. So now I'm going to show you a few of the different brushes so you can see a few of the different effects that you have. And now this is a little bit of a simplistic pattern compared to some of my other ones, because I didn't put any multicolors in the background. So you get some, more than my other ones, you see like blocks of color, but all you have to do is take another thing and kind of put the background. But it makes these colors that are really interesting, that are really, or these backgrounds that are like, you know, you can mix all these colors and it looks like it was so complicated to make, but in reality, using the brushes that I have that let you lay down all these colors so fast, it makes it super easy. So now I'm going to take this next brush and I'll hold my shift key and I'll go down. And now you see you get a totally different look. You've got these 2 strokes in the middle, but it leaves like a lot of the colors there. And you see these beautiful colors blending like magic. So as you can see, it's a totally different look. And then now I'm going to go with a third brush. And now I'll pull down. This one, it doesn't move it paint as much. And then you see all those beautiful colors like barely moved. So, and then I'm going to go on the upstroke. That's brush number 3. So how cool is that? All of these have like totally different effects. And let's go to brush number 4. This one might look a little similar. Nope. This one moves the paint more. This is brush number 4. And you just get these amazing color blending techniques. So that's brush number 4, and it looks like we have enough width for one more. So let's go to brush number 5. I'm going to put it to about 500 width, and I will pull down. This one's got like a nice gentle softness, which I really like. They all have different effects. It's so much fun. You just have like unlimited possibilities. Here is, and I'll just go like this. Okay, I'll leave the side. I won't worry about that last piece. But here you have it. I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different brushes out of the kit and got a different effect in each of them. So if I cover this, you'll see a little bit better the different effect. Let's cover this with white. So you see there, and then you'll see this one. If I cover it, let's see here, add another layer. So you got this kind of effect, this sharp, let's see here. Just to kind of give you like a better view here. There's the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and then the fifth one, and then the sixth one. So you get a different effect with each brush. So it's very cool. So this is the fundamentals of the technique, and in some future videos then I'm going to show you different variations, make some different styles. So hopefully you enjoy this, and then you can download all the different brushes for this on my member access area or purchase them separately. So that's it. That's how easy it is to make these really cool wet sort of chevrons. And if you have any questions, just ask me below in the comments.